Welcome back. On today's Dungeon Design Drive-By, we take a look at a one-shot that I like to call Trouble at the Old Dwarven Mine. I'm Mark William, and you're watching By DND. Trouble at the Old Dwarven Mine. Our adventurers are going to begin above ground, where a dwarf named Ruddigar Rockback has found the warriors. You can decide what they're doing. Maybe they're traveling, maybe they're in a tavern. Doesn't really matter. Ruddigar is going to find these warriors and explain that, oh my god, like there's been a disaster at the mines, a cave-in, and he needs these adventurers to come and save and rescue his fellow Dwarven brothers. So as this one-shot begins, I would start the players right here, coming down the stairways, to give them that sense of descending deep into the underground where these dwarves are really accustomed to and have set up this workshop area. Ruddigar tells them his brother Stonethumb narrowly escaped, and he's resting, but the adventurer should speak to him. So that's kind of how this one shot starts. The adventurers will come down and speak with Ruddigar, see this area of all the collectibles, maybe even some treasure, maybe even some different casks of different items, lumber. It's kind of a mess, really setting that scene that these dwarves have lived here for a long time. This is their life. And so you have all the workstations, and the players should hopefully go, well, ask Ruddigar, okay, take us to Stonethumb. If he's awake, let's go talk to him and find out what has happened inside these mines. Maybe tell the players too, there's tremors on the ground. Things are kind of, dust and rock is falling from the ceiling. Things seem unstable, and setting that scene of something's obviously unstable in these mines. So the players will meet with Stonethumb. He awakes in his bed, and he's bandaged up and hurt, and that's when he'll explain to the players, in a daze, in a hazy state. Maybe he can't quite recollect certain things. He might explain there were shadows in the mine, or that it was just a big earthquake. He doesn't know what it was. There's 4 other dwarves in there, or there's a number of other dwarves. You can kind of figure that out for yourself. Maybe there's noxious gases. Basically, any clues you want to give the players about what's in the mine is up to you, but he saw something terrible, or it is a big beast of some kind that the players can tease out of him, but he's going to pass out a little too soon before they can get all the details, perhaps. So at this point, Stonethumb has to go to sleep again and rest, and Ruddigar's basically going to ask them, well, what's up? What do we do? What's happening? What did he say? And at this point, the players will feel a larger tremor, a larger shake, earthquake, and rocks will fall and actually block the cave entrance. So right when the players are basically hey, we're ready to go, let's just walk easily through the entrance to the mine and go get this done. That's when we are going to throw this stumbling rock in their way. It's collapsing. It's terrible. These big, heavy boulders.
And Ruddigar's oh no, my friends, we're all doomed, and there's dust and clouds, and it's terrible.
I would even have the players make a dexterity check. There's multiple rocks happening. Everyone's got to dodge, and things are just, falling from the ceiling and potentially damaging them up before they even enter the mines. So at this point, players might come over to the wall and be well, can we move it? Can we push it? Is there any way through? Making investigation checks, trying to solve this problem. And this is when, hopefully, they spot this shiny cannon that the dwarves use, to tunnel through the rock, blow explosives, dwarves. Maybe there's even some gnomes that have helped out with explosives around here, and there is this cannon. However, the players need to basically operate the cannon effectively. So this is where maybe there is some danger in lighting it underground. It is unstable. Another cannon might cause another roof collapse on this section of the mine, so it is a little bit of, okay, well, the cannon seems like a good choice, but it could be our death. So I just like throwing that in front of them, they just want to get their hands on a big, powerful weapon, but it could be the wrong move. So that's why I would have maybe another option. There might be I would add some water, maybe there's an underwater cave they can actually swim through to get around instead of using a cannon. Maybe they do just search the rock and can maybe climb it and find a hole through into the cave a different way. So I'd have a few different ideas of how they would get past the situation. Or if they have some other spells or things like that. That's where maybe there is someone who has stone shape or some other different magic spells that could handle this or manipulate it or move it or anything. So I just like that. That's a little bit of a initial roadblock as they get started. I also have these snakes over here in case they are searching for treasure. I did put some gold out here and things like that. You know, gold is usually around dwarves. So I'd have a few hazards just in the area while they might be trying to like scavenge and actually take from the dwarves while they're there. If you have those type of players, rogues or anything, I'd have a few different like creatures around. Yeah, maybe even spiders or things like that, that they might get into some little combat if they spend too much time looking for how to get in there. That's essentially it. So this serves as a good way to get a party started. It could lead to a bigger campaign, or at the same time, perhaps they are just traveling on the road and Ruddigar just finds them, and now they're in this underground facility, basically. After that, we're going to use some terrain to build a dungeon, which I haven't done too much of, which I want to show just how you can kind of use a combination of a setup area with terrain, and then some more fog of war type of uses for using terrain as well. So after they have this kind of social exploration encounter, they're going to get into the mine, hopefully, somehow. So let's take a look at that. All right, we're going to assume that the players used the cannon and blew up the entrance. I would have them make another dexterity check. I think if they do use the cannon, some more of the ceiling should fall, and it should be an even more difficult check. So I would raise the DC from the original sort of warning shot earlier on in this one shot. And they'll make it into the mine. Now, for this next part, one of the problems with terrain sometimes is that it does block view. It's hard to do walls. It's hard to do dungeons. Even from here, like, it's hard to see, even if you're sitting at the table, it's hard to see like what's inside this house and things like that. So I'm always trying to figure out ways to kind of bridge that gap or find a happy medium. So I felt like this is pretty good. It's pretty open for people to have access to, but I'm going to improve the access here as they enter the mine. So firstly, I'm hoping this isn't too difficult, right? I don't want to be setting up too much stuff. I don't want to have to rearrange or pause the game. So, but in this case, I would move these mountains out so the players do have a better view of the mine. Of course, the walls are going to be imaginary at this point, but to give them more of that dungeon fog of war feel, the players will hopefully go down. And maybe the players will ask Ruddigar to join them or show them the way or give them hints. And that's when I'd have him freely give hints, but for him to come along, a persuasion check of some kind. He has to take care of his brother Stonethumb. He's not going to come. He's going to make sure everything's safe here. It should be hard for him to come along. But if they do convince him, he can come along and hopefully Stonethumb will survive, but maybe they come back and find him crushed by a rock or something. Who knows? We'll see. But hopefully down this corridor, right? It's dark. This cave is not lit. The torches are out now. It's dusty, it's dark, and dark vision should be playing a role here. So if you have a group with not that many people with dark vision, this could be dangerous. Make sure they have torches. Light will play a factor in all of this, and I am hoping that you set this long corridor up to be, what are they hearing? What are they smelling? What are they seeing? A lot of opportunity for perception checks, wisdom saving throws, survival, nature, what's going on, even the infrastructure. If you do have a dwarf in the party, this is when, how is the stone structure looking? Does it look safe? This is where I'm hoping people will be able to take advantage of some of those ability checks that maybe they don't normally get to do. And they'll eventually get to different rooms. And at this point, I didn't choose any particular monsters to fill this with or any particular objective. I was just thinking perhaps Ruddigar does say that they are mining. He lets them know, or maybe he doesn't want to at first, that they're mining for a magical artifact that's powerful and dangerous that the players could find. Similar to, the dwarves mining too deep and awakening the Balrog type of idea, right, from Lord of the Rings. So it could be something like that. But again, I'm kind of leaving that up to you. So they're either rescuing the dwarves, maybe they want the artifact, or there's something of that nature. So they're going to go through, and at this point it is true, they'll be looking. They'll have to find their way. This is a cave, so I might start, they look down this hallway, there's a doorway this way. And perhaps there's a doorway going the other way. And this is the good part, hopefully I am just taking from what I've already set up. You can even use pillars too, it's just kind of like a mishmash of things. So while they're adventuring, right, you can determine how long this goes as well. So they're going through different rooms, they're making checks. The ground's shaking, dust is falling on them. Are they gonna find themselves trapped in a room or something? So again, in this portion, you're gonna have little encounters in the different rooms as they're exploring, looking for the lost dwarves. So for example, they might enter a room and, oh no, there's a dwarf. He's still alive. He's breathing heavy, but he's crushed underneath a beam of lumber that they've used to craft their little mining operation. And again, see, just pulling things from here into here to set the scene on the fly. So they'll have to make strength checks, save him. Oh, good, they've saved one dwarf. Maybe he knows where the other dwarves are. So you can have an encounter like that. Or similarly, again, perhaps they choose a different way. Again, just keep your tiles to the side and you're placing them down. This way, they do enter a cave where maybe they do discover in one of the rooms what's causing the earthquakes, or what caused the mine to collapse. And there's stone golems or rock golems, earth elementals, things like that are actually just being disrupted, similar to the Balrog, as these mines are trying to look for their gold or their gems or whatever they're looking for. So you could have combat encounters just based on that. Or perhaps, again, there's just creatures, such as spiders, or even goblins that might be running from certain, their caves have been disrupted, maybe just everything in the area is being disrupted, and lots of different monsters are just moving, trying to get out. So at this point, that's kind of up for you to decide. Pick kind of what you want. It could be random. There could be a reason for the earthquakes. The earthquakes could just be happening, and it's random monsters. But eventually, they will hopefully find, a room. Again, I might add more hallways or things like that, corners or other problematic things. Again, if you have any terrain that's like this too, perhaps it is just they have to cross a gap to get somewhere. And there's some other types of ability checks they need to succeed on. Or maybe creatures come out. As the ground's shaking, they come out and attack the heroes as they're even trying to make it across the gap. So there's a lot of versatility here. But hopefully, eventually, they do find the dwarves. Maybe they're dead, maybe they're not dead. Hopefully not dead. Just maybe hidden under some rocks. And they're trapped. Maybe the door was blocked there as well. Who knows? Maybe some things collapse. They're trapped in the room, but they can hear them shouting for help. And they can somehow get through there, again, maybe via spell or anything like that. However they do, or maybe it is this boulder they can push, so they all help each other and push and find the dwarves. Now this is the point where you're going to end this campaign in a dramatic fashion. This is a one-shot, so it should be very dangerous.
The players find the dwarves, don't find the dwarves, they find the artifact, they don't find the artifact.
However you want to end it, at some point there is going to be a larger than normal earthquake. And at this point, I would tell them, this whole cave, right? I just want the dwarves to be the whole cave's caving in here! And things are falling everywhere. Dexterity checks, rocks are falling. This is going to be deadly. And as they get out of maybe the first room, I would have the whole floor just collapse into the earth. Just get eaten up and it's gone behind them. And from that point, I would still keep everyone in initiative as if it's combat, and I'd roll a d4, and that's how many rounds it takes for a floor to drop in. So it'll take one, say I roll a d4, and it's one, they have one turn to get off this place before it falls in. So depending on how deep you sent them in, they're gonna have to run as the cave is just cracking in the ground. And this is true, maybe now you want to throw some natural beasts in their way, spiders are crawling out of their holes, goblins are running from their lives, and they'll have to fight and get away from them and wrestle their way through with all the dwarves, and hopefully make it out of the cave before the whole thing collapses. But even then, I'd say right when they make it out, it's not stopping.
And this is when hopefully the team will be like, Ruddigar, you gotta get Stonethumb, you gotta get out of here, we gotta get above ground now.
So I'd even have this slowly being destroyed as hopefully they're quickly running. Oh no, but what about the cannon? And what about all the treasure? And no, it's gotta go, you know? Let it go. Let it go, Indy. No, for all you Indiana Jones fans out there. So they might have to drop any treasure they found. You could even add that in, like, if they are, like, looting for gems, like, there should be maybe gems and gold and stuff, or stones. Maybe it's weighing them down, that classic problem of, like, you don't want to give it up. But that's it. Players will then hopefully escape. And again, maybe there's even creatures hassling them all the way till the end. Everything from the cave's trying to get out, and that would be the end of it. Whew. Hopefully the players make it home. Maybe they did get a cool treasure. Maybe they level up for the first time. Maybe the adventure continues. Or you just try it again with a new group and see what goes different. Alright, thanks for watching this. Hope you can try it at your table. And I will see you next time for another Dungeon Design Drive-By. Till then, I'm Mark William. Remember, all D&D, all day long, all night, till dawn.